Men against women, masculine versus feminine, assertive versus receptive are some of the battles we're going to see between Monday, December 9th and Saturday, December 14th as Venus opposes Mars. A healthy relationship will move through this with ease, while a more challenged one will get tested. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal relationship and predictive astrology. If you enjoy my work, please show me support by leaving a like, a comment, subscribing, and pressing the notification bell. You can watch another one of my videos or say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, or a croissant. Thank you for taking advantage for that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. Before we dive in, 2 announcements. If you have questions, you'd like to work with me, you want to understand yourself better, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can look at your relationship, talk about your compatibility, or discuss your year coming up, or take a look at your natal chart. I am currently running a year ahead special where you can save $20 off your in-person year ahead reading. The coupon code is down below. Or save $40 by picking up a recorded option in the shop section of my website. That one is already discounted. So check out my website for that. On there, you can also pick up a variety of products I create. For example, my 2025 planner is just the tool you need to make your year easier and better. It contains 223 pages filled with insights, astrological guides, journaling prompts, full moon, new moon pages, lunar phases, anything you need to make your year better and to help you find more success and ease as you move through the year. Additionally, I would like to highlight my Venus in Libra 2 candle. This one captures the powerful Venus in Libra, and it could be a remedy for any Venus retrograde, any Venus in aspect to Saturn, or even this transit we're talking about, Venus opposite or square Mars transits, which create more friction. Venus in Libra is Venus in rulership, very charming, very balanced, very harmonious and pleasant. So she can help you navigate difficulty, as well as it is a good candle to attract someone. I recommend this especially if you were born with your Venus retrograde, if your Venus is in the 12th, 6th, or 8th houses, and if it's in Virgo, Aries, or Scorpio, which are the signs of fall and detriment. So check it out. Venus opposite Mars. It goes exact at 5:45 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, December 12th, but we begin to feel it 3 days before, about 3 days after. So between Monday, December 9th and Saturday, December 14th. The opposition is happening. Venus is at 5 degrees 58 minutes of Aquarius, and Mars is at 5 degrees 58 minutes of Leo. So you will feel it the most if you have planets around 3 degrees to 9 degrees of the fixed signs, which are, of course, Aquarius, Leo, but also Taurus and Scorpio. You may notice more friction. Venus opposite Mars, right? Venus is our planet of desire. She's Aphrodite. She's beautiful, unattached, charming, sings beautifully, connects people. Mars is the warrior, very strong. It's like classically been associated with masculine energy, kind of impatient, testosterone, etc. So in Greek myth, they have been Aphrodite and Aries, and they had this very tumultuous, passionate relationship where they would fight or they would make love. And so with this transit, we can expect our desires, our ambitions, and our drives to intensify. So we may notice that our passion gets stronger, but also our ego gets stronger, right? And with Venus being in a rather detached, rational sign of Aquarius, and Mars being in this look at me, listen to me, adore me sign of Leo, you can see already where there is friction here, right? So it may be that you are taking on the objective side and your partner is maybe acting more dramatically, or it's vice versa. You're stirring some drama while they being objective. And so in a relationship, we may see some friction. We may see tensions. We may see fights. We may see issues around who's in control, who's more receptive, who's more assertive. If it's a healthy relationship, the tension can be released through sex or working together, working out together, competing, right? This could be a really sort of nice for a competition if you're able to harness the energy and not let it explode. But if the relationship is already rocky, if things are already feeling not quite right, this opposition can reveal the tension and can make you more aware. It's like the two fighters on the different sides, and you will see how things are working or how they're not working. Venus and Mars can also suggest, issues around masculine and feminine energy socially, politically, right? If we're talking about the rights of men versus the rights of women, or men trying to control the rights of women, men trying to mansplain things to women, there could be kind of bigger challenges coming up. Creatively, you may notice more friction, just in general, kind of more disagreements between you and other people. And so healthy outlets, like I said, are competition, exercise, dance, making art, sculpture, throwing paint at the wall. And whenever you can unite this creative approach of Venus with a more active approach of Mars, or romantic approach of Venus with a more active approach of Mars, that could be great, right? So like if it's a competition, it's maybe an art competition. If it's an exercise, maybe it's a dance, right? Like I said, if it's a art project, also use your body, right? Go build something in your backyard. Or sculpture is an example that I gave you, which is also a good one. So this is a more general overlook, right? I think it's an important transit to note because Mars is retrograde, which I didn't mention, but it is a big thing to note. Mars is retrograde, so it's not just Venus opposite Mars, but it's Venus opposite Mars retrograde. And so Mars being retrograde implies that this masculine assertive energy is currently being reviewed, and it may be a little bit suppressed, and it may not come out in the healthiest ways. So if we're talking about someone being dramatic, they might be passive aggressive, right? They might throw a tantrum. They might pin you or say something that is like affecting you kind of very deeply. So there is also a danger of like that sort of passive aggressive or things spilling out and being extra hurtful, because Mars retrograde, if you saw my Mars retrograde video, is like carrying a really hot cup of coffee. So we have to be aware and we have to be quite careful with this transit. So let's take a look at the rising signs and talk about what this might mean for you, where you might see the friction. Keep in mind that these are more general readings. If you're looking for a personal breakdown, please book a reading on my website, take advantage of the year ahead special and figure out what's coming up for you. If you are in Aries rising, Venus in your 11th house will oppose Mars in the 5th. And here we have this literal friction between your friendships and your romantic partner, or your desire to spend time with your children, or even your creative energy, right? Mars in the 5th can be very competitive. It can be very combative and like independent, and Venus in the 11th will do her best to try and balance relationships with other people. So friction with friends, friction around creative projects, friction around communal engagement, and maybe what you would rather do. Let's say you have a kid who goes to public school or even private school, doesn't matter, but like there is some kind of event that's getting organized and you're taking care of it, but then you're having to deal with too many parents giving you different opinions on things, and things get heated and frustrated. So be aware of that. If we think of Mars and Venus in opposition, they also rule your Venus rules your 2nd, 7th houses, Mars rules your 1st and 8th houses. So if we think of those topics being opposite one another, you may also be dealing with some kind of financial tensions or conflicts of values between the 2nd and 8th houses. And 1st versus 7th is maybe your desire to go out and your partner's desire to stay in, but somehow your energy might be opposite to what your partner is trying to accomplish. So a lot of these complicated relational dynamics that you're navigating here. As always, share how this resonates, and if you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For the lovely Taurus rising, Venus in the 10th house will oppose Mars in the 4th. You are ruled by Venus. Your house of relationships is ruled by Mars. So you may be very professionally involved right now. You have this creative project that you're working on, that you're building, but something might happen in your home, and it could be instigated by your partner. It could also be just something challenging happening in the family, some kind of friction between family members that is taking you out of your flow and disrupts your life. This is a very clear need for better balance between your professional life and your home life. Mars in the 4th can be rather frustrating. It suggests that something in your sector of comfort and security, where things should be running smoothly, is not running smoothly, and it's distracting and it's taking you out of it. I can also see this as friction between you and your partner, just because, like I said, Venus rules you, Mars rules your partner. And maybe some tension between the desire to rest, desire to spend time with family, desire to maybe get away for the holidays, and the professional agenda. So be careful, watch out for battles with family members or with bosses, because either is a possibility and it can be annoying and frustrating. Share if you're already noticing this, and if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Moving on to Gemini rising, Venus in your 9th house will oppose Mars in the 3rd. And here we have Venus in the 9th as this desire to travel, to explore more, to grow, to connect with foreign people, to get away, to teach, inspire, like whatever it is, there is this desire to venture elsewhere and do something fun, versus Mars in the 3rd, and there might be like a logistical issue. These could represent different people, right? This could represent a boss making you work late and you wanted to get away and go on a trip and relax. Or this could be, Venus in the 9th, you're getting ready to start a podcast. Mars in the 3rd, you get like message that your tools and your technical gear is being late, and that results in some kind of fight on the phone. This could be very heated conversations here, ideological debates, fights with siblings, fights at the grocery store, fights at the airport. So be careful. If we also think that Venus rules your 5th house, Mars rules your 11th, maybe there are some kind of battles around education and children, disagreements with what teachers are saying or people in education. And then Mars also rules your 6th and Venus rules your 12th. So it's similar energy to, I think, working and escaping. So be careful, really watch what you're saying, and perhaps look for opportunities to create more peace in your interactions. And if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For the lovely Cancer rising, Venus in the 8th house opposes Mars in the 2nd. And here you're dealing with a desire to collaborate, a desire to get along and agree, and maybe start a partnership, maybe pay off a debt, some kind of relational dynamic that you're trying to navigate. You're hoping to create more balance, to start new partnerships. In opposition to Mars in the 2nd, which is a sign of being perhaps more impulsive. And maybe it's your knee-jerk reaction where you spend a bunch of money and that results in a fight. It could be about you spending a bunch of money. It could be about maybe your partner spends a bunch of money, maybe your child, maybe you're spending on your child, and that results in some kind of friction because your partner thinks that there is a smarter way to spend money. Venus rules your 11th, Mars rules your 5th, so there is friction between dreams and aspirations and some kind of like social ambition. And once again, the house of children, romance, and pleasure. So maybe we're looking at the things happening if you are a parent specifically, right? Like if you're a parent, but maybe it's your creative project, like some kind of fire you need to put out, some kind of challenge. And also Mars rules your house of career and Venus rules your 4th house of family. So it's another sign of like having to deal with different values around family, career, and having to marry those two, and perhaps things feeling a little bit frustrating. The sun came out. Look at this. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For Leo risings, Venus in the 7th opposes Mars in the 1st. And here you're looking at your desire for balance in relationships. Those could be relationships with your partner, business associates, with your siblings, your neighbors, your colleagues. Somehow Venus is in the 7th house. She rules the 3rd, she rules the 10th. She's very relationship oriented. She opposes Mars in the 1st, and you have strong opinions about things. And so your opinions, your desires, your actions might be misconstrued or misunderstood or maybe somehow opposite to what other people expect. Mars rules your house of home, family, and living situation. It also rules your house of beliefs. So you may literally be fighting with your partner about beliefs, about politics, about religion, about philosophy. You may be disagreeing with your colleague about the schedule or some kind of logistical matter. And of course, conflicts of like, the future, around the future, disagreements, like you feel very clear on what you want and what you deserve, and maybe your partner is giving you a very different energy. One of you might be assertive, one of you might be receptive, and there might be tension connected to that. And of course, this can also result in a night of passion or some kind of breakthrough and deeper understanding between the two of you. If you're looking for more guidance, you have other questions, you're curious to know what year ahead has in store for you, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For the lovely Virgo rising, Venus in your 6th will oppose Mars in the 12th. So here we have a desire for professional accord, perhaps a need for people to get along, maybe some kind of involvement with your colleagues, in opposition to your self-defeating tendencies. It might be the more let's get along side of you versus let's stir some drama side of you. It might be your professionally driven side versus the side of you that wants to relax. Venus rules your 2nd house, Mars rules your 8th. So there might be some kind of tension with colleagues or general like disagreements around money, conflicts of values, conflicts of interests. Like once again, if we're talking about needing to work late and wanting to be agreeable and wanting to build a good future with a company versus your desire to go on a trip that you've been planning for a while and have enough time to pack, perhaps. So having to navigate these difficult work situations and having to make sure you're not sacrificing your needs and not being too perhaps passive aggressive, because there might be some kind of difficulty that arises at work, and the question is like, how do you handle it? Do you approach things with patience and clarity and honesty, or are you leaning into Mars retrograde and trying to operate in these subtle yet unhealthy ways? Share how this resonates. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com and take advantage of my year ahead deal information down below. For the beautiful Libra rising, Venus in the 5th house opposes Mars in the 11th. I can see this as like you being ruled by Venus, want to spend time with your partner, and they're going out and you're having a fight with them. So your desire for connection and closeness and fun one-on-one is at odds with your partner's desire to go out. Perhaps you disagree on spending. You want to spend on one thing, they want to spend on the other. Perhaps there is also tension between what you want to do or your kind of fun and joy and what your friends want to do and what they expect of you, or your friend is acting in a challenging, combative, contradictory, perhaps passive-aggressive way. So this could be an opportunity to gain clarity in a friendship or romantic relationship and perhaps discuss things. Or it could also be maybe, if it is about you and your partner disagreeing on what to do, maybe you go out together and you allow them space to do their thing, but you're like still close and maybe you have a good time. Because Venus opposite Mars can also bring sparks and passion. And with Venus being in your 5th house, it is quite likely that some kind of friction results in passion. It can also be, honestly, this could be like an interesting thing if you're single and you have a friend that you're interested in where you fight about something and then you end up in bed together. I've seen too many romantic comedies, but it could be it. That could be the thing. Please share if you have a friend like that and if you feel like this might be something ahead for you. And if you're looking for more help, book a reading at Anastasia.astrology.com. If you are a Scorpio rising, Venus in your 4th opposes Mars in the 10th, and you are ruled by Mars, your partner is ruled by Venus. So here we're dealing with tension between you and your partner, potentially, maybe their views on home, family, and how things should be versus your views on things, like a little bit of having to navigate these dynamics. There might be, you desire to spend time at home, you desire to spend time with family, but your work is being too demanding. You're maybe hearing from a boss, or, it could also be some kind of disagreement in the family. Like maybe there is a patriarch of your family that is trying to tell you what to do, and it's affecting your joy and peace, and you just hope things will be chill and relaxed, but it's not like that. Venus also rules your 12th house and Mars rules the 6th, so there might be tensions around work and your desire for rest, which is similar energy, or tensions around being direct versus being indirect, so having to figure out a way to communicate and navigate challenges and try to be honest and not suppress the feelings, I think is a big theme here. As always, if you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at Anastasia.astrology.com and take advantage of my year ahead special. For Sagittarius rising, Venus in the 3rd opposes Mars in the 9th. And we have tension around maybe disagreements with siblings, maybe friction with teachers, mentors, gurus. There might also be some kind of, you're waiting on a package and it doesn't get delivered, then you go to mail post office and you fight with them there. Watch out for ideological battles. Watch out for having really strong opinions. Mars in the 9th. It is retrograde, so its energy might be a little subdued, but it being subdued is like, it's like a warrior being kind of tied to, I don't know, the radiator. and then, they're subdued, but then if they pull away from it, that there will be trouble. So watch out for, saying things that might be snarky and hurtful and big and dramatic. We also have Venus ruling your 6th opposite Mars ruling the 12th. Venus ruling the 11th opposite Mars ruling the 5th. So similar sort of, disagreements with friends, maybe conflicts with your romantic interest, maybe professional tensions or like logistical issues I can see around these oppositions here. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at Anastasia.astrology.com and take advantage of my year ahead special. For Capricorn rising, Venus in the 2nd house opposes Mars in the 8th, and we have Personal values against relational values. Your needs and desires versus your partner's needs and desires. Your financial strategy versus your accountant and the bill they're giving you, or insurance bill, or some kind of even maybe you're waiting for an inheritance, or you're dealing with you're helping your mother buy a home or something. There might be like friction involving dealing with these financial matters, especially because Venus rules your 10th house and Mars rules your 4th. So it's very much home, family versus, career versus people in power potentially. Venus also rules the 5th, Mars rules 11th. So I can see this as some kind of disagreements around if you're involved with working with other people, maybe you're not seeing eye to eye. Or I could even see this as important conversations about children and maybe money that children are costing, or the effort that is required, and having to perhaps battle it out, but also discover the truth. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'm currently running a year ahead special. You can save, so information is down there. If you are an Aquarius rising, Venus in your 1st house of identity opposes Mars in the 7th house of relationships. And this feels like you're trying to be a diplomat. You're trying to keep things smooth and be charming and like act like everything is great, but then it opposes Mars in the 7th, and perhaps there is some kind of friction in the relationship, a conflict, a partner being maybe dramatic, or maybe a partner going through something difficult, and then that pulls you out. Let's say Venus in the 1st, you have like a big event that you're hosting. Opposite Mars in the 7th, your partner crashes it and is not being supportive, and so you get in a fight with them. Venus rules your 4th and 9th, Mars rules 3rd and 10th, so we can definitely see some kind of conflicts, heated exchanges around here, maybe tensions involving home, neighbors, family. So be careful when it comes to dealing with these difficult things. And of course, any opposition, even if it's heated and dramatic and results in conflicts, it is designed to help you discover the truth and to get closer in a relationship. So this could be a very powerful aspect if you let it, if you navigate it with patience. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and take advantage of the sale I'm currently running on the year ahead reading. For the lovely Pisces rising, Venus in the 12th opposes Mars in the 6th. And I can see this. This could be interesting. This could be your desire for rest at odds with your workload, and maybe at odds with your tendency to say yes to things. So it could be very internal. It could be like friction between your self-defeating tendencies and your maybe even your desire to have better health, right? Mars in the 6th could be very active, very much focused on improving things. And Venus in the 12th might be a little bit more like, but I just want to relax and I want to chill. And so inner tension is possible, as well as maybe disagreements with other people, tensions with colleagues, even romantic tensions are possible if we're talking about Mars ruling the 2nd house and Venus ruling the 8th. So there might be some kind of battles surrounding values, issues around money, tensions involving travel and work. Very much, like especially if you're planning to get away around this time. Venus in the 12th, opposite Mars in the 6th. Venus rules your 3rd, Mars rules your 9th. It's like, how do you deal with your need for rest when things are feeling hectic? And so stresses and fights with bosses, with colleagues, even with strangers, to be honest, just like you feel so pent up and frustrated that you end up fighting with your doorman in your building, or a mailman that brings you mail because there is a smudge on it and you're like, I've had enough. So beware of this like heated energy. Pay attention to it being internal. Notice that if something is exploding or feeling extra tense in your life, it might be connected to what you're going through within. And look for ways to transform, heal, transcend, as always. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I am running a special on the year ahead reading, so treat yourself. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will take advantage of the positive sides of this transit. I hope it's just passion and romance and, you know, lots of sparks for everyone and less friction. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.